Hi, this is Cindy Cochran. Welcome to the archives of the Cindy Cochran Show. Remember, I'm live Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 11, right here on irlonestar.com. You can be a part of the show by calling 936-647-3776. Also, please visit my Facebook page, The Cindy Cochran Show. And let me say a special thanks to our show sponsors, BK Meyer Photography. If you would like to be a sponsor of The Cindy Cochran Show, contact me at cindy@irlonestar.com. Enjoy! Good morning, everybody. Boy, it's beautiful Monday morning here in Montgomery County. You're listening to the Cindy Cochran Show, and we're so happy to have you here. We know you have a choice, many choices, but if you're sitting and listening to us and you're going to be with us all hour long, you will be, you're going to benefit from it. You really will. You're going to learn something today. First off, I went and saw what everybody's calling Revenant, a Leo DiCaprio movie.
Oh, great. I bet you loved it.
It's called Revenant. Is Revenant because it actually means someone who has come back from the dead. That's the definition of it. But it's been driving me crazy. First of all, how to pronounce it, and then what does it mean? And everybody's calling it Revenant, but it's a Revenant. Revenant is what the correct pronunciation of the word, and it means someone who's come back from the dead. It was good. Quentin Tarantino should go see this movie and then go burn his. When he sees how it's done, this is the way it should be done. And then it won all these Golden Globe Awards in it. But I'm going to be cynical. I'm going to channel Richard for a moment. And I bet the words on the script for DiCaprio to say is maybe page and a half, 2 pages. The bad guy in this movie really did more, to me, acting that they judge from on these awards and stuff. So maybe he'll get a nomination for Best Supporting Actor, but he was really good. I mean, DiCaprio did a great job of making you miserable, feel horrible for him. You hurt for him, and it is a movie that will just take you from here to there in the emotion part of it. I also thought that the craftsmanship is what people would associate with Tarantino's movie. Doesn't even compare, not even said in the same breath, because this was so realistic, and it is bloody and gory, but it makes sense for the gore and the blood. It makes sense for it, not the way it's just done frivolously by Tarantino's way of movie making. You know, like they'll have gratuitous sex in something, and Tarantino has gratuitous violence and blood and guts and all that. But this was very realistic, you felt like this is how it must have been, what it's been like. It was the best arrow shooting through people effect I've seen. They have perfected it. It looks really good. And they do get shot up a lot with the arrows, but I was so impressed. I was so impressed with it, and I thought Sam was going to be just like probably stand up and start applauding. You know where we sat to see this movie? We sat on the second row on the seats that are right in front of the screen. It was packed. I was shocked.
Aren't all the seats in front of the screen?
I mean, the ones that are down on the floor that are right there.
Yeah. Or you had to have a neck pillow?
Brace. Yes.
Neck pillow?
Yes. To watch this thing. And
it was that full?
It was that full.
Did it come out this?
Yeah, it came out this weekend.
Okay, that's why.
And but Sunday afternoon, we went and saw it Sunday afternoon after church, and it was packed. And so, and I thought Sam would turn around and go like, "Oh, let's go see Sisters or something," because I'm not sitting like that. And he just said, "Okay." And so we went and sat down, and I liked the seats. I didn't think I'd like it, but you can push back far enough to see it, and your head has to move through the movie. You're watching this over here, and then you move to look at something else. I like that. I don't want to feel like there's anybody else in the room when I'm watching the movie, and I just found the seat where I can do that. It's the second one. But when Primal Fear came out and the Woodlands Tinseltown opened up, the first day it opened up, I wanted to see the first movie in it, and it was packed, crowded, because people have been waiting years for this movie theater to open. And it was Primal Fear, and I went and sat, and I had to sit on the very front row of that and look straight up, and that was uncomfortable. But at least I was seeing the first movie that played there. It's just like when Foley's opened, it was the first store, anchor store, that opened in the mall. The mall hadn't opened, but Foley's opened first, and I wanted to buy the first thing they sold. So I waited, got in, and went and bought some lipstick and got the receipt for it, the first one. And then I thought, who am I going to show this to, and who cares? But it was, but when I saw George Mitchell later, and when I got to interview him and stuff, I got to tell him I was the first one who purchased the first thing in your mall, and I just felt like that was such a cool thing to have on my resume. I don't know if it's really going to make a difference, but anyway, so it's sitting in that position and seeing that movie. It was great. It's really a good movie. But one thing is that you will you'll eat all your popcorn and everything that you have because of the starvation factor of the people in the movie. You feel like it makes you hungry. It makes you like, at least I can grab something and eat it. But I didn't think it would be a good one for like hamburgers or hot dogs because I knew there was going to be a lot of violence in this movie. And the bear scene that everybody anticipated and lied about what was going to happen in that bear scene. Did you hear about the rumors?
No.
Well, they kept saying he was raped by a bear. He was sexually assaulted by this bear. And when they would show different parts of the trailer, you think, oh no, how could that, wait, what? And so you kind of anticipate that part and you don't know what's going to happen. But it was...
You didn't know that was a common occurrence in nature?
What?
Bears just assaulting people?
Not raping them. Not raping people.
I think it was consensual in this situation. I mean, isn't it the theme of the movie, anything to survive? Anything
to survive. Oh, but it was, well, you'll have to see, but it's not that. It's violent as all get out, and you feel like, how can you survive that? But it was good. It was so good. So I hope you guys like it and enjoy it. Let me know, because I think I'm the only one. But Sam, as soon as it's over, I said, well, what do you think? He said, that was terrible. And I went, what? Terrible? How can you say that? And he goes, well, because you remember the Richard Harris show that we saw. And I think it was one called Man Called Horse. And anyway, it was based on a true story like this one was. And he thought it was probably the same story. And this was done many years ago, but he said it was more realistic and it was more, it seemed like, oh yeah, that could happen because of the tools and things that the guy had. When you watch the movie, you'll say, now how can you make fire in snow and things like that? But, so he compared it to that and thought it didn't live up to what he remembered. Richard Harris, I said, no. This is so much better. This was very realistic looking, and you felt like that's what would have happened, and that's what it would have looked like if it happened. And but boy, I mean, I think maybe DiCaprio, Leo, should get the nomination because of just what he went through. And they wanted to shoot this in Calgary because they wanted to make sure that it was, be authentic and have so much difficulty and frustration and all that they have to shoot through this. It was just, I don't know how they did it, because you look at what the places they were and how they would get that equipment there and all. There was some ants that were going to be ants that crawled all over him. They had to fly ants in first class 2 times to get the right amount of ants. And then the only shot they cut it. And the only shot you see, and when you see these little ants and they're crawling on each other, like surviving, how they survive and how they're going to move up to this next level. And it's just a short, less than 15 seconds on the screen. But I bet he thought, I'm going to get those stupid ants on the screen. They're going to get somewhere in this movie, because I had to fly them first class to get them to us twice. Anyway, it was a very interesting movie. So hopefully, all you who can stand it, just make sure you don't get a hot dog or bring a hamburger in or any spaghetti or anything like that. You'll not be able to eat it. But the popcorn and that kind of stuff, you're fine. You're fine with that. So anyway, that was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed that movie, and hopefully you guys will be able to go see it and enjoy it. There's a lot of stuff that's been happening, and we all know and bow our heads at the mention of the Houston Texans. You thought I was going to say David Bowie? No, the Houston Texans lost, and it was pathetic. And it's not that I'm not being disloyal or anything like that, but it was just, if I had been there, and if I was like one of those fans that are just fanatical fans, that I would jump the fence to go down there and just slap O'Brien around like, who called that? Who called that play? That was ridiculous. And even I, Cindy Cochran, understood, like, what in the world are you thinking? And then they put J.J. Watson to run the ball. And the look on his face when he came back over the line, like, I don't know what just happened. So anyway, there's a lot to talk about, and hopefully Jimmy the C will be able to get a hold of him for our next segment and talk about the Texans and all that's been going on. And Bob Berry is on his way. I talked to him personally, and he's on his way. So we got a lot to go on. We got a lot going on the next segment and 2 or 3. So you guys stay with us. Don't go away. We'll be right back on the Cindy Cochran Show.
The Cindy Cochran Show, the most opinionated talk show on radio.
Lone Star Internet Radio is now bringing you the weekly business hour show each Monday morning at 11 a.m. My name is Rick Schissler, and I will be your host. Each week we will be bringing you local, area, and national business news that you can use. The program will also feature an interview with a local or national business person who will share their own experiences, successes, and failures in operating their businesses. Our show is for anyone who already owns a business, whether they work solo or have employees, and for those who are thinking about starting their own businesses. A bit of information about myself. Again, my name is Rick Schissler, and I am a Silver Fox advisor who has over 40 years' experience as a serial entrepreneur. As a part of our show, I will offer some advice and encouragement on our monthly topic, and I will take your questions by email at rschissler@silverfox.org or call into the station at 936-647-3776. See you on the radio Monday at 11 a.m. for the weekly business hour.
In a world where everyone with a smartphone is a photographer, unique images still stand out in local newspapers, magazines, and on the internet. Writer and photographer Brad Meyer has gained a reputation for innovation and quality, specializing in an editorial approach to portraits and event photography. For information, visit bkmeyer.com or call 281-221-4812.
Are you interested in learning more about preparing quick, healthy, and safe meals for your family? Would you like to spend time with others learning tips and tricks, along with practicing and tasting nutritious food? If so, the On the Road to Healthy Living Mobile Cooking School is for you. Call Amy Ressler at Texas A&M AgriLife Extension Service at 936-539-7825 to find a class near you or volunteer to host a class.
The Cindy Cochran Show, real reality radio.
And we're back on the Cindy Cochran Show, and we want to always thank our sponsor, BK Myers Photography, who will make you look like you've never looked before. Just look at my new, and they are new. I didn't take these back in 1967, but he made me look like that. It was amazing. I tell you, Photoshop is a girl's best friend. But Brad Meyer of BK Meyer Photography, did a number on my face. It was just amazing, and it is on my my artwork for the Cindy Cochran Show. And then look at pictures of every day. Every day when we have a guest on, we do pictures up against the Lone Star sign there, and you can tell what happened to her. She looks so much better in photography. That's what and people, this way I can go out in public and nobody will recognize me. Except when I'm sitting here and they walk by, we've got this big banner that's out in front of the Lone Star Internet Radio. And they look at the banner and look inside and go like, I wonder she must not be there today. But anyway, so that may be the only way that I get recognized, though, is that I am in here, and it is 10 o'clock, and that may give them enough clues to give them who I am. Anyway, so we're waiting for Bob Berry to show up, and we want to talk about, again, still open carry. That's that show. There's been a show about open carry on all the news shows, and they just keep rerunning because nobody really understands fully. But I do want to talk about the effect it has had on businesses and what kind of effect it will have on businesses, whether they choose not to allow somebody to come in with a gun or whether they do. And there have been a lot of interviews with businesses that said, like, it's made a lot of our customers mad because we said no. It's made a lot mad, because we said yes. So there's no way to really do well about it. But a jewelry store has said they don't want anybody coming into their jewelry store with a visible gun on them. And I don't, it's funny. It's like if the guy has the gun on him, it is true. You don't know whether it is something that they're a criminal. You can't tell that a lot of times unless people have not shaven and they look. No, you just can't tell. So they want to make sure nobody has any guns when they walk in that is visible. And the robbers, of course, can come in and they hide their guns anyway. But the jewelry store hopefully has something behind the counter to help, keep people from taking their product. I don't know. But in bars or around liquor, they don't want people carrying the guns. I don't know. If you have a law, did it state that business owners or private organizations have the right to say no guns? And they have to put up a certain type of sign. They just can't put a gun and a circle and a cross over it. It has to be a certain type of sign that really does say, you're not allowed to carry in here. But in Texas, it's just, that was like the biggest thing. Like, yay, we can now we can carry a gun. I'm going to go take classes. I told Sam, I said, I did this one time. I went to the class part of it, but then I never completed the rest of it.
The law does allow that. It allows private businesses to ban guns if they choose.
Okay. So that's a lot of the confusion, though, is a lot of people don't know, like, can I keep them from bringing the gun all the way in, or can they? Where are they going to park the gun? It's like the horses when we used to ride horses. You just don't bring it in.
That's if they walk in and you like, sir, we have a sign. That's even if you want to be nice about it. They can call the police and report them and say this guy's walking into a no carry zone.
Mm-hmm. And so it's no carry zone.
Yeah.
Well, but I also have heard that owners have said, "Will you just cover it? Like put your jacket over it."
You can concealed handgun.
So there's a concealed handgun, yeah, which they've been doing probably anyway. Okay, so if Bob gets here in time, we can talk about it. That would be great. He sounded like he was coming out of a meeting, so he may have gotten stopped again, so we'll see. The other big thing that's happened is David Bowie dying. That was a shocker for everybody.
Not really. He had cancer.
No, but it was a shocker for everybody that didn't know that if you let me finish the sentence, didn't know that he was had been fighting for 18 months cancer. And that, and so he lost that battle last night. It's interesting that he did finish his album, and he had listened to the things that he had been fighting and things that happened to him. He had fought back from 6 heart attacks to make the final album. 6 heart attacks, yikes! And that the first line of there is not a hoax. Haunting last video. We're looking for that. Wore many guises through his life. I've done just about everything possible to do, he said. Transcended music and art with drugs, sex, and Ziggy, one of his characters. And he said, I blew my nose one day in California and half my brains came out. And he fought back from 6 heart attacks to make the final album. And Germany credits him with helping bring down the Berlin Wall. Man, I never heard that before. But my favorite song of his was Last Dance. I love that song. I thought that was really good. I mean, he had so many and so many different sounds and all. I liked the video he did with Mick Jagger on Dancing in the Streets.
When they did a bunch of drugs and they remade a song.
I didn't see the doing the drugs part.
How do you not see them under the influence during that music video?
Under the influence, yes. But they're actors. They could be acting like they had taken drugs. Who knows? But did you like David Bowie?
Oh, yeah.
Which song did you like? What was your favorite song?
Man, there's a lot. Probably my favorite one. I'm trying to remember I'll only look up the title real quick.
Okay. Did Revenant? I'm going to pronounce it correctly and just be a snob. Did it push Star Wars out of first place, or Star Wars still hanging first place?
I don't know.
I was wondering about that. If that was going to, I mean, for that auditorium to be packed like that on a Sunday, it's open Thursday, and so it was packed. I am absolutely looking forward to
Life on Mars. That's what it is.
What? Life
the
on
song.
Mars. That's one you like?
Yeah.
I don't even remember that song. Do you like the weirdest things, Richard? The song that, he tried so many different sounds and all. He was just trying to reinvent himself all the time, but he was very clever.
To the seats with the clearest view, and she's hooked to the silver screen. But the film is a sad thing for.
He's in full makeup getup too. You never heard the
Is
song?
he blue? No.
He's just so creepy.
Never. And his wife, he's survived by his wife and some children. Iman, the supermodel Iman. I didn't know they were still married. I thought that was a passing phase of his. And you never knew if he was gay or he was straight, because he was.
I think he was just weird.
He was just weird.
Well, he reminds me of one of those people that, like, in any timeline, he's just gonna be weird. Mm-hmm. So if he's like in the 1400s, he's gonna be weird.
True.
If he's gonna be now, he's gonna be weird. I mean, I like his music, but he's not one of my favorite artists. I think one thing that his strongest suit was his songwriting, like, because he had so many people cover his music. It's kind of crazy. But then also, again, he's been around for at least 30 years on the music scene.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I mean, he had probably the longest. Your longevity would go to him, but I think
because of those drugs, they're good for you.
That was it. But look, he had 6 heart attacks. He has cancer, and when he sneezes in California, he blew half his brains out. Okay, so he will be missed. Except this new album coming out, it was a great publicity stunt for his new album, and I'm sure it's going to get a lot of attention.
Well, what's funny about that is the conversation had to have been brought up. And I wonder how those conversations go with anybody. It's like, especially his estate ownership. It's like, all right, David, well, they've probably been talking about this for 18 months since he got cancer. I'm like, all right, so how are we going to divide this up? Mm-hmm. How do we really push this? Because their record producers are going like, we need to start pushing this song today because he's dead. And I know, I guarantee you, there's got to be like the Michael Jackson effect or something that someone's done a study about. It's how, I guess, Elvis Presley would be more popular.
Yeah.
Because when he died, I mean, that's when the whole world, I mean, the songs were written about it. True. And you got to capitalize on that in this world.
Well, they did. It certainly upped the tour guides for going through Graceland. And I'll imagine what that was like. My sister loved Elvis so much. That day, found out. She dropped everything. She went and got her husband and went and got 2 tickets, and they flew to Graceland. And she said, I wanted to be there. I needed to be there. It was so weird. I mean, I liked Elvis, but it was strange. It was very strange. Did you watch the Golden Globes last night?
No.
At all? That guy, is it Jervis?
Ricky Gervais? Yeah, the host?
Yeah, the host. They keep having him back, so I don't, anybody be surprised or, because that's what they're looking for, is for him to be as shocking as possible. The only thing that was funny is that he was announcing, Matt Damon and what's his face, his friend, his best friend,
Ben Affleck.
Yeah, Ben Affleck. He says, and now the man who the only person he's ever been faithful to is Matt Damon, and he had him come out, and people just roared. They loved that because it made sense. It made sense that he said that, but that was the nicest thing he said of all the things. He dropped more F-bombs than they'd ever had, and
what's funny to me,
most foul-mouthed awards show yet
is like the Academy Awards and this Golden Globes. To me, it's like what's crazy to me about it. It's like a private club, and we as the public get invited through TV to view this private club because these votes have nothing to do with us.
No.
And the winner, like, it has nothing to do with us. Nope. And I always like that because it's like, how do we dupe people into watching this? Where, like, and it's not even based off a group that we all respect.
No.
Like, I can understand it if it's like, oh, all the presidents, because people care about what the movies the presidents watch. I always found that really interesting. They always like to put that in, like, what's on their watch list. And like, here's the foreign press. But what is the foreign press? Is it a club? You're like, how do I get accredited as the foreign press?
Right.
And is it the bloggers or all those? Like, I don't really get it. And especially with the Academy Awards, I can't believe people like that so much.
I think people that have a lot of influence with over, millions of people, they will send those movies to early, let them see it, and then they can start, talking about how you got to see this movie. It's great. It's wonderful.
Well, I mean that, but like the people who vote for it, like the Academy Award is such a closed vote.
Right. And
it's only people who are involved with the arts.
Right.
So it makes no sense to me that I should care if they're voting for their buddy because, I mean, it's not... And that's why I think the People's Choice Awards are so great because it's so polarizing compared to the Academy Awards. It's like,
brother, yeah.
Let's give it to Will Smith because we love Fresh Prince every year. Right. Justin Bieber, Musician of the Year.
That's true.
I think it's fantastic. Especially if you're trying to get accredited as an actor. I mean, imagine winning an Oscar is important, but I think it's going to die out. I think the importance of an Oscar is going to go away.
Well, then you would love Nickelodeon's awards. They give those awards for the movies and stuff, and Adam Sandler always wins. So you understand, why he makes movies to his base. That he's doing it right because he always wins that award for sure. And it's so funny to watch him get slimed and.
Well, I mean, what's better is their world. Like if you go to the Screen Actors Guild, they get all their movies. They get all the DVDs and stuff before, and you follow them on Instagram or anything like that. They post pictures of like, oh, I got my movies we can watch, and I'm like, all right, cool. Like I said, it's so weird that we watch these shows, these award shows, and we don't have no influence in it.
No, and we had to pay for the show, and that probably makes a difference. If I had to pay $50 and I go watch the show and I'm going to be so mad about it. I get it for free, and I sit back and watch it, and so it's like no big deal, and so wouldn't that skew my appreciation for the different things that they have in there?
And then and the greatest thing about the Academy Awards is you don't even have to see all the movies. A lot of people don't see all the movies.
Yeah, that's right.
But they still vote.
Yeah,
because they know if you don't vote, you get in trouble if you don't vote.
Well, that's why Spielberg was always complaining he could never get into that because he was so wildly popular with the populace that they thought, well, people don't know art, people don't understand what we do.
That's why we
voted
in-house.
Then why you do it? Don't do it.
That's why they do it in-house.
Yeah.
Kind of like how Fast and the Furious should just win everything. Because Paul Walker died. That's the reason he should win everything.
He should have gotten something for that. Yeah, for dying.
And Star Wars shouldn't because it sucked.
No, it did not. You better shut up. You're going to have... Call 936-647-3776 and ask for Richard and tell him why you think he's crazy that he didn't like Star Wars. Anyway, okay, guys, we'll be right back. Do not go away. We got to talk about the day that I met Princess Fergie's Secret Service and how I met them and what they said to me. Okay, listen, guys, we'll be right back on the Cindy Cochran Show. Don't go away. There's a lot of stuff to talk about.
The Cindy Cochran Show, the first daily talk show serving Montgomery County.
Hey, this is Cindy Cochran, and now Conroe can boast of another first. the first morning live talk show, 10 to 11 a.m. Monday through Friday, right here on Lone Star Internet Radio, coming straight out of the fabulous downtown Conroe, Texas. Be the coolest guy at the water cooler or the most informed break room dweller by listening to the fun side of the news, local, national, infinity, and beyond. The Cindy Cochran Show. You ain't heard nothing yet.
Did you know there are more than 790 abused and neglected children currently in foster care in Montgomery County? Will you help make a difference? I'm Allie Stevens with Casa Child Advocates of Montgomery County. We train and support volunteers to be the voice of children in the foster care system. Kids removed from their home because of abuse and neglect, and we need volunteers just like you to advocate for these children. To learn more about becoming an advocate, please visit CasaSpeaksForKids.com. That's CasaSpeaksForKids.com.
In a world where everyone with a smartphone is a photographer, unique images still stand out in local newspapers, magazines, and on the internet. Writer and photographer Brad Meyer has gained a reputation for innovation and quality, specializing in an editorial approach to portraits and event photography. For information, visit bkmeyer.com or call 281-221-4812.
At Jazzy Junk, volunteers reclaim, restore, and recycle. Jazzy Junk is a non-profit resale storefront where you will discover wonderful, unique finds at very affordable prices on furniture, antiques, books, art, home decor, and more. When you shop Jazzy Junk, you support New Danville, a community for adults with developmental disabilities. We receive new donations daily, so plan a visit to Jazzy Junk today to find that perfect item or gift. Our motto is here today, gone today. So remember to hurry in and shop often for the best selection. Jazzy Junk is located in the outlets at Conroe on League Line Road and I-45 North. Call 936-441-4500 or visit our website, jazzyjunk.org. That's JUNQUE for more information and store hours.
The Cindy Cochran Show. Real reality radio.
And we're back on the Cindy Cochran Show. And again, we want to thank B.K. Myers, Brad Myers Photography. He is great. He is wonderful. And you guys have got to look him up because he is he's on the web. B.K. Myers Photography. Go to his website, go to his Facebook, and look at his before and afters. You don't have to go to Weight Watchers or any of those places. Go to BK Photography and see he will reveal your before and after. He will make you see, oh yeah, that's what I could look like. No, he is amazing. He's an amazing photographer. So he made me what I am today, and I just wanted to thank him. Also, guys, there was we were talking about open carry, and I did want to talk about this with Bob Berry. If he'll show up, I don't know where he is. I hope he's okay. We may have to call him on the phone and do a phone interview with him. But anyway, the experience I had with the people who guard, high profile people is amazing, because we've been talking about, like if these people who are so against guns and they have all the people that surround them armed to the hilt, it doesn't make sense. They have them armed to the hilt because they know, number one, they're a target and that there may be people mad at them. Yes, that's right. So they have these people with guns and trained to do this, surround them so they can be protected. But what about the people? Why can't they see that we have the same right to have the same protection as well? And so I don't get that. But the Secret Service are an interesting group, and I had a run-in. One day, I was working as I was executive producer with Time Warner in Houston for about 10 years, and we would get to go to the most interesting places. Anytime any big people would come in, we went and covered it to show, then to put a video together about things that happened in Houston and all. And so I got to meet a lot of interesting stars through that. And one of them was, they told me, Cindy, we want you to go out and want you to do a story, uncover Princess Fergie. And Princess Fergie at that time, she was so popular in England. She was married to Prince Philip, and it was just, he was popular. She was real popular. Princess Diana was also married at that time to Charles, and they were best friends. But Fergie just had this knack about doing all the things that the royal family just couldn't believe, and just would give them, where they had to use smelling salts after they read some story, something she had done. She was just wild. She was really wild and liked to have a good time, and did not want to be, put in that little cage that the royal people are supposed to do and try and act like they're supposed to act. She wasn't having it. So she was coming to Houston, and she wanted to see her father, who who played polo, and a big polo player, do this tournament that they had in Houston Memorial Park. So anyway, she said, you got to go out there and you're going to cover her, and she's going to be presenting the award to whoever wins, and hopefully it's her father. And so we need to get all that. Well, we got out there. It was hot, muggy day. It was horrible. And in fact, when the award service started, just as it started, it poured down raining. And she didn't want them holding an umbrella over her head. She just liked the drenched look. She thought it was funny and all. But we got there, and we were asking around. I said, we're Time Warner. We're here to cover the princess. And do you know where she is right now? She says she's down the field and she's talking to some people. And I said, well, I need to get my camera crew in here. So we got in. We were able to get in. We had all the the press passes and stuff to get in. But there was this tower where judges and all were sitting, and I wanted to go up and look and see if that's where would be the best place to shoot from. So I'm crawling up this tower, and they, I knock on the door. They open this door, and I look up, and I said, "Excuse me, I need to get in to do some site surveying right now." And the guy said, "What for?" And I said, "Well, I'm going to shoot the princess, and we need to see if this is going to be the best place to shoot her from." And the guy turns his head and looks at the guy standing next to him. He has one of those ear things on, and he talks into his wrist and says, "I have a woman here who says she's here to shoot the princess. Can somebody come verify who this is and what's going on? We'll hold her right here." So they brought me up, and then I went, I probably should have said videotape. I'm with Time Warner, and I explained it all to them, and they thought that was really funny. They said, "Wait till we tell," whatever. And so I went back down, got my crew, and so that was a big laugh for them. I don't know how long people laughed about that. And so we videotaped her and got that, and then we went down and got up to her to talk to her, and then we went and talked to her father, and it was an incredible day. It was a lot of fun. They were just real funny, down to earth people, just having a good time. And so anyway, that was my close call with them, and it's fun. Those guys, Secret Service guys, are just on it. And why they have so many bad stories about them coming are the American Secret Service people for the president and stuff, and things that they get into, and things that they do. They get after them, and I guess they're reprimanded more than they should be. But boy, they're armed, and they have all the gadgets and all the cool things, and it was a lot of fun. So that was my where I got close to Secret Service and them being armed to protect people, and our want to have guns to protect ourselves. Now, President Obama did a town hall meeting on CNN. And this was really touted to be a big thing and all that. And so, you felt like they're going to it's also going to be scripted, like Richard always says things are, and that it's not going to be real. And everybody knows what the answer is going to be. He knows what the questions are going to be, and he's all ready for them. But, surprisingly, they had tough questions for him. I think he thought that his answer to these questions, he did not want to look like they were just softball questions to him. He thought his answers to these questions were going to, solve everything and put away the fear that people have. But he did something that I don't think he thought, long and hard about before he said it. He asked this one lady, stands up. She said, "I'm a single mom, and this is what happened to me." I was raped, and I had no gun, no protection at all in the house. There was no way that I could, scare off this guy or whatever. And this was a horrible, tragic thing that happened to me. And don't you understand, in your administration, understand that I need to have the ability to get that gun. I need to be able to have the ability where it's not so difficult for me to be able to protect myself and my family from anything like this happening again. So don't you understand it? And he said, well, here's the thing. It's very difficult. And someone like yourself, it's going to be very difficult to be able to respond to an intruder or something fast enough to be able to find that gun. And yet that gun will be there all the time, and your children could take that gun and do harm with it. And so, boy, did he get backlash over that. And this is the backlash he got. Oh, wait, we've got a call. Oh, yay, it's Jimmy. Jimmy. And I will finish that story in just a moment. So, Jimmy, how you doing?
I'm all right. I've been better. How are you?
Uh-oh. You're not feeling good?
Nah, not very well.
I'm sorry. Well, you go on the prayer list. We've got a lot of good prayer warriors here, so everybody pray for Jimmy and that he feels better and things get better for him. But that's so sweet of you to call anyway. But and I know you don't have what's so bad makes it worse is what you have to talk about. But we need some expertise in discussing the Houston Texan game because it was so pitiful. Now, everybody knew, though, that this was going to be a struggle, right?
Yes. It would be a struggle, but it doesn't help when your quarterback completes more passes to the other team than he does at home. I'm sorry I'm laughing, but that's so true. That is so true. I kept looking I was trying to get a look on his face when he would pass the ball, and it looked like he didn't know where he was. There was the weirdest look on his face. And they kept making the excuse, people say, well, they need to bring in Whedon because Hoyer's not getting it done. And so now they're making the excuse, well, Whedon hasn't been in the system. He doesn't know the system. Really? Look what this guy's doing. He doesn't know anything.
Doesn't have a system. I think they'd have called, somebody that was holding one of those poles up. Like, would you come over here and throw the ball up? Anybody would have done at that point because you felt like Hoyer was just out of it. He didn't know what he was doing. And
I have no clue. I mean, and they're talking about, well, he doesn't know the system. They started 4 different quarterbacks this year. One of them was Whedon, who got one of the wins.
Right, right.
At halftime, he just said, you know what, you don't have it, Hoyer. We're going to bring in Whedon and see, if he can ignite this thing. We got to do something.
Right.
But no, he's stuck with this guy. This is the problem with Bill O'Brien. He's supposed to be his quarterback guru, and this is one of his handpicked guys who brought in that he had in New England, along with Mallett. That now, Mallett was a guy who was supposed to be, the guy who was going to, be the quarterback for the franchise, and he wound up being a head case and a crybaby, and that's the guy they had to cut because he wasn't showing up to practice, and he wasn't, being a team guy.
Okay, but
Bill O'Brien's hand-picked guy.
Yeah, and he doesn't want to, just like men do this thing. They'll stay with something because they just don't want to lose face about what. It's just a man thing. But, okay, why? I haven't heard this question answered yet. Why did they put J.J. Watson to run that ball? Why?
I don't know if they were desperate. I don't know if it's novelty or if J.J. just goes, I want a rushing touchdown this year. I don't know.
Well, the look and the conversation it looked like he was having with one of his fellow teammates was like, what in the world was that? Why did he do that?
I guarantee they practiced that. They practiced that play. It's not like they just put JJ in. Hey, Dave, you feel like you want to get a touchdown today? Sure, why not? I'll go ahead.
Yeah, they
run little special plays for him because he's a freak in nature, and
he is.
It didn't work.
No, it didn't. That's what I mean. Like, he took a chance on just like, everybody loves you, JJ. Don't do something stupid like that. And And then when he took the ball, it seemed like, okay, he was a magnet to run right into where everybody was instead of trying to run around them and use his strength. I don't know. It was just, it drove me crazy. It's like, why would you do that? I don't understand it.
It was pretty obvious he was going to get the ball. I mean, the smart play would have been, he's a decoy. Everybody would assume he was going to get the ball, and then you kick it out to somebody else.
You are so right. I mean, me, Cindy Cochran, who doesn't know nothing about this, from nothing, and I knew. Why did you do that? You just said you're going to throw this to JJ. That was so stupid.
That was like when the Bears would let Refrigerator Perry every once in a while rush one over the goal line because it was just so big.
Yeah.
I guess that's what they were thinking. I don't know, but it didn't work. You scored 0. You might as well. You scored as many points as the Dallas Cowboys did in the playoffs, which they didn't make it. So it's like the Texans didn't even make the playoffs. So they didn't even score a point. They just had a pep rally down at the stadium Saturday, basically for Kansas City. What that turned into.
That was so. It was pathetic. It was just pathetic. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe my eyes. Like, what? And then when I thought, you get so embarrassed, you get so upset about it, and I'm not going to watch it. I'm not going to watch it. So I went back into my room, and then I just thought, no, just click over. And then you think, oh, they're doing bad. Cindy, you're a jinx. Don't look at it. That's what Chad would do. You came into the room, Mom, and they started losing. Get out of here.
I know. Trust me, I know. Me and Chad and Joey have thrown many people out during a Rocket playoff game or other playoff games due to jinxness. The dog. Everybody's been thrown out the room at least once.
I know. So I never okay, just don't watch. Just don't watch for this inning and see if they do better or something, or this quarter. But it was a sad way to go down, 30-0. If you're going to do it, at least get something on the board.
It's really sad when your star wide receiver is seen mouthed during the game, get that MFer out of here, which he was referring to telling the coach, get Hoyer out this game, and I guess ABC or ESPN picked up, and you could read his lips, and he spelled it out pretty much, like, get him out of here.
I bet, he says, I've been practicing, and I have nothing to catch. What are you doing? But and everyone he threw, it was still so far above the guys. I thought, okay, now come down. You've thrown 3 way up high. How about aiming down a little bit? I couldn't.
I mean, I heard after the game, Hoyer went in the locker room and tried to throw a fit, but that even got intercepted. So just pitiful.
Okay, Jimmy, that was it. That was you've left us with that sound bite. That's great. Jimmy, thank you so much for being there, and we will pray for you, make sure you feel better, okay?
Can I say one more thing?
Oh, always. Yes.
I'm sick of no offense to people of Kansas City, I'm sick of them. The Kansas City Royals put the Astros out of the playoffs, now the Kansas City Chiefs put the Texans out.
Yeah.
I'm sick of you, Kansas City.
Yeah.
I just wanted to say that.
Okay, good. I'm glad you got that out of your system. You'll feel better now. That poison is out of there. Okay. All right, good. Yeah, we're going to have to start talking about happier teams and things that are going on next Monday, okay? We're going to move on, right?
If I can find a happier team, because the Rockets are very happy right now.
Okay. There's got to be some Little League team we can start talking about. Some friends.
Some Little League team. I mean, some local high school volleyball, badminton team, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, we're gonna try something. Thank you, Jimmy the C. Thank you for being with us, and we'll talk to you next Monday.
All right.
Bye. Get me some Jimmy the C. Okay, we're going to have to take a break. We kind of missed our break. We'll be right back. And Cindy Cochran Show, brought to you by BK Photography. We'll be right back.
Conroe now has another first. The Cindy Cochran Show. Mornings at 10 a.m. on irlonestar.com.
Our community's animal shelters cannot absorb accidental litters of kittens and puppies. Approximately 80% of the animals entering our shelters will not make it out alive. Please help be a part of the solution. Please spay and neuter your pets. Many low-cost options are available. Visit texaslittercontrol.org to learn more. That's texaslittercontrol.org. And remember, real Texans don't litter. Please spay and neuter your pets.
In a world where everyone with a smartphone is a photographer, Unique images still stand out in local newspapers, magazines, and on the internet. Writer and photographer Brad Meyer has gained a reputation for innovation and quality, specializing in an editorial approach to portraits and event photography. For information, visit bkmeyer.com or call 281-221-4812.
Tune in every Sunday night right here on Lone Star Internet Radio for adventure, romance, thrills, chills, and everything vintage radio drama can bring. The Players Theater Company Old Time Radio Hour comes to you every Sunday at 7 p.m. with brand new episodes monthly. Our productions always feature actors, music, and sound effects performed completely live. And now you can enjoy seeing each new episode performed on stage at the Owen Theater in Conroe. Check out www.irlonestar.com for information about upcoming episodes. Relive the glory days of vintage radio drama right here with the Players Theater Company Old Time Radio Hour on Lone Star Internet Radio.
The Conroe YMCA's benchmark adaptive programming for kids and adults is Leap of Faith. Leap of Faith is an equine-assisted therapy program serving children and adults with adaptive needs. The writers in our Leap of Faith program are working to address and manage specific aspects of their lives impacted by illness, injury, or disability. The Leap of Faith program has experience working with writers who are living with attention deficit or other hyperactivity disorders, hearing impairments, visual impairments, developmental delays or disabilities, autism, Down syndrome, multiple sclerosis, muscular dystrophy, head traumas, brain injuries, and paralysis. Our program uses horseback riding to develop self-confidence and self-esteem, to increase upper and lower body strength, assist in respiratory issues, and establish a trusting relationship between the rider and their horse. Not only do these activities aid in the physical and mental development of the rider, but they also foster self-reliance and independence. For more information regarding our program, to become a writer, or to volunteer with a great group of people, please call our Welcome Center at 936-441-9622 or visit our website at www.ymcahouston.org/Conroe.
The Cindy Cochran Show. Even if these walls could talk, they couldn't get a word in edgewise.
You're back on the Cindy Cochran Show. Yes, it is Monday. And I hope you've learned something, something that you've taken into your heart and hold and keep those treasured. It looks like Bernie Sanders walking across the street. Look at that guy over there. Doesn't it look like Bernie Sanders?
I feel like that would be an insult to somebody.
You wouldn't say yes. Anyway,
he sounds like, I don't know how to put it. Like every time I see anything he says, he just sounds like the typical grandpa.
He sounds like Larry David. Have you seen Larry David?
He does sound like Larry David.
Word,
it is.
So you can't see him anymore without seeing Larry David. That's weird.
I was like, can you imagine this guy sitting around the table talking to you? I just wouldn't be able to take him serious.
He does sound like he has toast in his coffee. Okay. I was finishing up the story that Obama says to the single mom who had said she wished she'd had a gun the night that she'd been raped and she could have been able to protect herself, and he said, well, here's the deal, it's really difficult to be able to respond unless you're really trained and unless you have to be able to get a gun out and shoot somebody, and then so that gun just sits there. And it's there, and your children could get it and all that. He was so condescending to this woman. Like, so you really don't try and protect yourself with a gun. Just don't do it. And he's gotten a lot of backlash from that. It made women really mad that he talked so down to this woman who was trying to make a point. But he did have some hard questions in that town hall meeting, and CNN is playing it over and over again. If you want to see it, probably go to YouTube. Also, I want to remind everybody, tomorrow is going to be Dr. Wilkerson. He is like the head guy, the head guru of the Montgomery County Republican Party here. And we have one of the largest ones, just about 2 blocks where their headquarters are. And he's going to come on over tomorrow morning, and we're going to talk how the Republicans really got going in Texas, where before it was all Democrats that kind of controlled this area here. And so now these Democrats here in Conroe have to draw out a donkey in the sand to each other to know that, okay, it's okay to talk because we're both Democrats. No, that's not true. Anyway, some of my best friends are Democrats. Mark Hader. Anyway, so tomorrow is Dr. Wilkerson. That's going to be interesting. And then Wednesday, Michael Player. Always we have good country music. And I am going to talk about Chris Stapleton. My word, I have been blown away by this guy. And I want to see if Michael would admit him into the Country Music Awards, because of the way they're so hard on country artists that they feel like are phony and all that. So we're going to see about that. Anyway, then we got Charlie Cash, the most opinionated Republican conservative I've ever talked to, will be on Thursday. And then Friday, Kristen Bays, who's running for judge here in Conroe, and we're going to talk to her and talk about female politicians and female people that are in the political scene. So it'll be fun. You guys stay with the Cindy Cochran Show all week long, 10 to 11, and we'll see you then. Thanks BK Photography for their support. See ya.
Thank you for checking out a podcast on Lone Star Internet Radio. Lone Star Internet Radio is Montgomery County's community radio station, broadcasting from the heart of Conroe, Texas. If you are interested in sponsoring a program for Lone Star Internet Radio, just visit us online at irlonestar.com or message us on Facebook. We are always taking song requests on Twitter, and if you are interested in getting involved with the station by either hosting your own show or if you want to be a DJ, just contact Dick at irlonestar.com. Lone Star Internet Radio, Montgomery County's community radio station.